Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Sports Night. And tonight we are definitely going to be talking about sports because we haven't done it last week. We didn't do it. We had a special episode last week, but tonight we are going to be doing some sports talk. But it's Disney related, definitely, as we talk about the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex down at Walt Disney World. And you're going to be surprised just how wonderful this complex really is. But before we do that, as always, I want to say hi and thank you to my partner channel, Steve, who is here again as usual. Steve, welcome in, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic, man. Thank you for having me as always. I'm excited that we can mingle Disney and sports together tonight. And yeah, we're going to have some fun. This is an incredible complex that a lot of people have never visited. So,
and it's funny you say that because that's exactly right. We've never been. We haven't ever experienced the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex. But as I was doing my homework a little bit on this, it's amazing just how big and what this facility can hold when it comes to not just sports, but capacity as well. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's I think it's 220 acres, I believe it is. That's how big the complex is, and it has 9 different venues on it. So, yeah, it's an incredible complex, and it's just tucked away over there. If you're on your way to Disney Springs or something, you might see the little sign that says "Wide World of Sports." But until you go back in there, you don't know what it's like.
No, I agree. Real fast, I want to say hi to some people in the chat. Kay's here, Kay Atwood, Jelly's Journeys, Melissa's here, Brian's here, Chills TV. Miguel's here. Hey, Miguel, welcome, buddy. Glad you can make a sports night. Brandy and Dave, Brian's in here. What's up, Rob Fuzz? My Disney Park Memories. Angela, Pirate Princess Red, welcome in. Mr. Gonzo PR, welcome in. And Shep family, welcome in. Glad you're all here. And thank everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Yep, we're going to talk about the Wide World of Sports complex tonight. But before we do that, most of you know us, but Steve, let's talk a little bit about your channel. So for those who might be first times or not hear that often about your channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just recently started live streaming about 5 weeks ago or so, something like that, 5 or 6 weeks ago. Kind of addicted to it now. I love interacting with everybody and having fun. But we go live every Monday. We just finished up our 4-week songs bracket, Disney 128 songs bracket. We will be mostly focused on Disney, but we do some other things. And this week I have a special guest. I'm going to have Dougie from Waltograms with me, barring nothing changes in his schedule. But yeah, he's planning on being with me. We're going to discuss the top 3 things to do at each park that are not rides. So we're just going to talk about that, and we got a lot of nice little things coming up. I'm really proud of. So we're gonna have some fun, and then of course, you guys are an awesome partner channel, and getting to do this show with you every week is just a blessing. So really happy to be here.
We're glad you're here as well. A couple other people came in. I want to say hi to Sherry, Awesome Travel, welcome in. Arving to Disney, welcome in. Glad you're here, folks. And James Garcia, welcome in as well, just so you came in. Melissa and I, Mouse Talk, we go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and of course on Saturdays with Steve. And we sprinkle in videos here and there when we have the time. I'm sorry we don't do it as much as we should. And I definitely appreciate all the support, everybody that's here. We're going to have a good time tonight. We really are. Be sure to hit that like button for us. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we'd be eternally grateful if you would do that for sure. But let's get started. I'll say this about ESPN Wide World of Sports. You're right, Steve. It's tucked away. It's over by, if I'm not mistaken, it's over by the Art of Animation Resort.
I think it's north of that. I think it's over there. If you come from Disney Springs and you're coming back into the rest of the world, I think if you turn right there, there's that. Is it the Yacht and Beach Club? There's like a big beach chair sitting there.
It could be, because I remember seeing it every single time. Maybe it was when we were staying at one of the All-Stars, because we always had to pass it. We'd see the sign every single time, and I used to say to Melissa, "Oh my God, we got to go there."
Well, when we stay at Pop Central, we pass it from Disney Springs, and then I think up that way. So, but I don't think it's right next to it.
Okay, all right. Hey, welcome into Explosive Phoenix and Sippity Doodad. Welcome in. Good to see you. But it's an unbelievable facility. And Steve, if I'm not mistaken, how many actual buildings do they have? Event centers.
They have 9 different venues, and
That's
they host everything from amateur sports to professional sporting events throughout the year. I mean, the list just goes on and on with the different things they do.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge there.
They hold everything from baseball, basketball, cross country, field hockey, football, golf, gymnastics. They do everything, and we'll get into some of the actual events that they do as well. You'll be surprised what they do there. It's an unbelievable building, and they just added a new venue, a huge venue. Did they not?
Yes, and it was called can't remember what the name of that one was.
I know exactly. Yeah, it's a brand new building.
Is it the arena one?
Yes, it's the one that's supposed to hold, for those who don't know, whenever you see cheerleaders or dance teams down there at Disney World, there's a reason for that. It's because it's a huge market for them. That new building, I think, was supposed to house all the cheer and dance competitions, if I'm not mistaken. And Disney is huge into this. They have the national championships for dance and cheer that's always held at the Wide World of Sports complex, right, Steve?
Yep, and to give you an idea of the size of it, it has 8,000 seats in it, and it has 6 regulation basketball courts and volleyball courts in it. So, I mean, it's not a small building whatsoever.
No, not at all. And they needed that because the dance and cheer competitions have grown exponentially at Disney as the years have gone on. It used to be not a big thing for Disney, but now it's unbelievably popular where they have every single dance and cheer competition you can think of, they have it at Disney.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing. Explosive Phoenix says, do they use Brave spring training for the Wide World of Sports? We're going to get into that in just a second as well. Zippity Doo Dab, we're going to get into that as well, too. Because, and actually, we'll get into the Braves. Steve, the Braves were there, if I'm not mistaken. They're not there now, correct?
They just left after 22 years.
Yep. So you're right. Like Steve was saying earlier, these complexes can hold professional sporting venues. And the Braves were there for spring training for 22 years. They just left this year, which is kind of sad. I really wish they would have stayed. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I'm okay with it not being the Braves, but I would like for them to host somebody because they have 4 professional baseball fields. Like you could hold regulation Major League Baseball games on 4 of their fields. And then they also have a practice infield that's Major League quality as well. So you could easily host somebody there or spring training. You know, like I know they go up and down the Panhandle or down the whole loop of Florida, but it would be nice. I liked it when they played there. They practiced there. You could go see them. It was neat to see some. That's just another aspect. You could go and see some of your favorite players if you like the team that's playing. But I would love to see them bring some multiple teams back for spring training. Absolutely,
and that's what really kind of I'm sad about because I wish that they would bring a team there again. Obviously, they can host it. The Braves were there for forever, so they have the capabilities. And do we know why they left?
I don't know why. I didn't hear why they left.
I didn't know if it was a contract thing or if it was a facility thing.
I'm assuming it was the contract was up and that they either just thought it was time. They announced it sometime in 2017 that they would be quitting, but it's I believe it was just that they just needed they just wanted a different play.
Gotcha. And somebody said AGC Magic says they'll probably use college teams in high school tournaments. They already do. They already do that. They already have college and high school teams that come there to practice and tournaments. It's amazing what they have there. But speaking of professional, they also have NFL stuff there too, Steve. Do they not?
Yes, they do. They I think you were mentioning to me too that they hold all the Pro Bowl stuff there.
All the Pro Bowl extracurricular stuff is there. All the competitions for the Pro Bowlers is there. All the extra stuff for the fans is there. The Pro Bowl experience, I think they call it. All of that is there. Now the game itself isn't there. The actual Pro Bowl isn't played there, but everything else is at Walt Disney World. It's amazing.
And you got people have to understand that this is it's not even Disney Wide World of Sports Complex anymore. It's ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex, branded ESPN, and that's their goal. Is Disney owns obviously ESPN. They want to host a slew of events, on the professional stage. That's why they built it to be able to hold that stuff, and they're going to do what they can to bring them in.
Yep, and they continue to grow with that. But one of the other things I really like about that is they have track and field capabilities there. They have soccer capabilities there. They have, like we said, football and all that. Every sport, you name it, they can do. Lacrosse, which is becoming a hugely popular sport in the United States now. They can do that there. They do it all.
They have a cross-country course.
Yes.
They have a course just for cross-country there. So, and for those that don't know, that's just running, basically. So,
it's true. It's true. It's amazing what they can hold. I want to say hi to Mary Ellen, T-Town Mary Ellen, and Jeff Dole Whip Dad is in here. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. It's amazing what that facility can hold. But what I really like about the facility, obviously, like you said, ESPN, it's owned by Disney anyway.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the actual facility and getting into the facility and experiencing it.
Yeah.
What do we know about that? It's not free if we're correct. And anybody in the chat, chime in if we're wrong. But we think it's not free, correct?
Yeah, and it's definitely not free. I mean, even though some of the things that they host there, you have to pay for registration to be able to participate. So it's not 100% free. And then the tickets, I don't know if I should have looked this up beforehand, and I apologize. It takes tickets to get in there. When I go to Disney every year, they give me a coupon booklet ahead of time. You know, I can go get a free round of mini golf or something. But every time I go, for every person in my party, there's a free ticket to go to ESPN Wide World of Sports. And we've gone and looked at it before. I've actually played there, but it's an incredible complex that a lot of people do not experience, and I don't think they understand how big it is. I mean, you know how big a baseball field is with professional baseball field, the whole like Wrigley Field or people in Florida Tropicana Stadium, things like that. There's 4 of them there, and that's just the baseball complex. That's not the other 8 venues that they have there too. They have 10 clay tennis courts there. I mean, the place is massive, and you can go tour it and see it. Now, if there's events going on, if there are events going on, you have to pay for those too, and they range. I mean, greatly range across different things. I mean, it costs thousands of dollars to register for some of the events just to put your team in there, and then it costs but you can get the cost way down as well. So, it's definitely not a free thing, but and I don't know how much the tickets are for the average person just to get in.
Right. And Jelly's Journeys, we're going to get into the Run Disney events in just a minute. But normally you're paying if there's events. But I think, and Steve, I could be wrong, and somebody in the chat, let me know. If you just wanted to go over there and see the facility, I think you can do that without having to pay. But if you actually want to use the facility, that's where the cost comes in, maybe?
So when you walk into the Wide World of Sports, the first thing you do is you go to this thing called Championship Gate, okay? So you walk in. It looks like you're walking into a stadium. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It looks like you're walking to a stadium.
Okay.
It's fenced off with a ticket booth right there. I've been there when I could not get in.
Okay.
There was nobody around to see at all. I mean, I couldn't even walk in the door. And hey, Dan. And then I've also been in where, so I think the ticket, I honestly, it's been so long. I think there's a ticket price to get into the complex.
Okay. Yeah, they're probably, I'm looking at the website. I didn't see anything that showed that, which is really weird. But the one thing they also have down there, talking about options, is they have plenty of dining options. They have merchandise stores in there as well. They have a guest relations area, so if you needed to go to guest relations, they can help you with that. But it's really a wonderful, really, really wonderful complex. Now, somebody was talking about Run Disney. All of the Run Disney festivities are held there, like the Festival Center where you get your bib and you get your merchandise, or if you want to buy merchandise. All of that is hosted at ESPN's Wide World of Sports, right, Steve?
Yes, and I did just find too. It says effective January 2019, which is obviously this year. General ESPN Wide World of Sports complex admission is for children ages 10 and over, and adults is $19. For children 3 to 9 is $14. So
gotcha. But that gives you access to the facility then.
Yes.
There you go.
Once you go through Championship Gate, you get to go in.
And free room.
Yeah. And that's the way it was with me when I was there.
Okay.
Now, again, I've not been in quite a while. The last time I went, like I said, I played softball. They host the national championships for UTRIP, USSSA softball. We actually played there, so we were free roaming anyway. So I don't know. I can't remember back that far to see if it's the same way now, because I haven't been in a while. So, but yeah, it used to be free roaming.
Yep. And it's really, really nice too, because with the Run Disney events, they're so popular and they have so many people. They need that space to be able to do all the different things they need to be able to hold that many people. You couldn't put that anywhere else. It has to be there.
Yep. And that's where they organize everything, correct? Because I know they'll like run through the parks. They'll do all that kind of stuff, but I think like you said, all the organization, all the merchandise, all that stuff is held at the Wide World Sports.
Gotcha. And everybody's saying AGC Magic TV said if you have a Park Hopper Plus ticket, you can use it there. It's included in that. You're right. If you have a Park Hopper and a Park Hopper Plus, yes, ESPN's Wide World of Sports and the water parks are included in that. So absolutely. So if it's something you want to experience and you're getting the Park Hopper Plus, it's included, which is really nice. And then I would assume you just use your Magic Band and in you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice facility. What I also like about it is, from what I'm seeing here, is the type of events that they have are year round. So it's almost like when you go there, something is going on.
Yeah,
would you agree?
Absolutely. So, like for instance, right now, just off the immediate top thing, which, by the way, the Braves spring training ended March 31st of this year. That was their last spring training. So
okay, all right. So they were there this
year. Yeah. This will be they will no longer be there from here on out. But just on first glance of events that I can see running for April, you have your AAU girls basketball, you have your AAU boys basketball, something called small fry basketball. I'm guessing it's for kids. You have the men's and women's MAAC golf championship going on, international cheerleading union world championships. I mean, a lot of these are amateur events, but they're still massive events. You have the USASF cheerleading and dance world championships are there right now, or they'll be there April 27th through the 29th. I mean, these are just it's just a bunch of things that are going on nonstop.
Right. And it's really nice too, because you have people like you and I, Steve, and many people in the chat that we're not just Disney fans, but we're sports fans too.
Yes.
And if you're on an extended vacation down at Disney and you want to take that time to do your other passion, which might be sports, there could be an event over there that you'd want to see. And not only that, it could be an event that you go see and then you or your kids maybe later on down the road might get involved with.
Absolutely. Because especially with the younger kids, if my nieces were to go see the gymnastics or something and think it's one of the coolest things they've ever done, or cheerleading, that might be something they actually want to get involved in, and adults could become coaches. It's a really good platform for the right kind of sports. Right,
exactly. Now, ESPN's Wide World of Sports has been there for a while, though.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the exact date of when it opened, but it's been there for a long time.
It opened in 1997.
March, right? Was it March?
I don't know the month. I think it might have been March, but I know it was 1997. And it was called Disney Wide World of Sports until 2010. And then they changed it to the ESPN branding name.
Gotcha. Mr. Gonzo PR says, do they have basketball courts? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They have tons of basketball courts. They have the ability to set up for volleyball. They have the ability to set up for soccer. You name it, they can probably do it there. The only thing I will say, Steve, you know what they don't have there?
What's that? Swimming?
Swimming.
Yeah, I just thought of that too.
Yep. That's the one I will say that they have no capability of there is swimming. And that's a surprise to me, because Disney, that is another sport that they could really capitalize on. Imagine getting like some of the international or country championships that you could have come there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know that we would want it, because that means more people down at Walt Disney World. But you could have some of those, internationals before Olympic type things. What are they called? I can't think of it now. But like
amateurs.
Yeah. Before you go to the Olympics, you have those other games.
World qualifiers and things.
Yeah, the World Championships and stuff like that. They could have that for swimming, and they don't have that ability, which is really.
Well, and amazing. I can see them adding a building to this too, because for instance, outside of the four professional baseball fields that they also have an infield training where they can hit batting practice.
Right.
Outside of that, they have 11 more baseball fields on there as well.
Yeah.
And they have it's like 10 soccer fields. I mean, they've got room that they don't necessarily need all these like, you know, they've got 15 baseball fields. You don't need 15 baseball fields necessarily. So there's room to knock some of them down to put up a building to host a swimming competition.
Now, you're right. But remember, and I'm going to get to Dan's comment in a minute because I think it's a good one. But when you have a professional baseball team doing spring training, you do need 15 baseball fields. Because they use those backfields for infield drills, this, that, and the other, for minor leaguers. They use all those fields. So I think that might be why they had them. Well,
and the way the complex is set up, they have on where the 4 professional baseball fields are. You have your infield, the professional infield. You have a decent sized baseball field right next to them. Then there's a couple soccer fields, and then you have 6 more baseball fields. But then way up on the other side of the complex, there's 4 other baseball fields.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, I'm not saying they don't use them, but they could reposition those possibly if they needed a building for swimming, they could get it.
Yep, they could. Dan says he heard that with the Fox deal, they are going to sell ESPN to a different TV provider like Comcast. And he thinks it's just a rumor, but that's an awful lot of space. Well, they might sell ESPN, but then they would just remove the name. It would just be Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex again. And because Disney owns ABC, and ABC is Wide World of Sports.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I heard that might be a rumor, and that all they had to do is sell off all the separate entities, the local market items, and that they were possibly I've heard they're going to keep ESPN, but I'm obviously not there with them, so I don't know. But I've heard they're going to keep ESPN, but that it's they had to sell off some of the entities to make it not like the global power or whatever that terminology is.
Right. No, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, they definitely do. And hi to Disney Nerd Herders. If I didn't say hi to you, I'm sorry. Welcome in. Glad you're here. Explosive Phoenix says, save the money and just move the Tampa Bay Rays there for spring training. You never know. I'm telling you right now, depending on the facility the Rays are in or other teams, it might be a bump up for them to go there. Because a lot of these teams, I know the Orioles, they're in a great facility now, but for the longest time, they were over at Fort Lauderdale. They had a horrendous facility.
Yeah. So
if they were still there, they might have come over there. But where they are now in Tampa, down that way, they love it down there now. It's amazing.
There's like 10 to 15 different Major League Baseball teams that have spring training in Florida around Florida. So it wouldn't be uncommon for any of them to take over where the Braves left off.
Absolutely. There's almost every team on the East Coast, well, all the teams on the East Coast are down in Florida for spring training, period. Anywhere from Jacksonville all the way down to Miami. Mm-hmm. They're up and down the state. So they could easily come into Walt Disney World. And actually, I think even some of the West teams or some of the Central teams are down in Florida as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I was just looking up because I believe the Dodgers spring training was in Florida this year. It may have been Arizona, but I think it was in either this year or last year. I think they had some spring training out in Florida too.
Okay. Yep. Disney, let's see here. And Jeff said Atlanta's gone now. Yes, Jeff, this was their last year at the complex. They're not there next year. I don't know where they're going. I'm assuming they're staying in Florida, but they're not going to be at ESPN, which is too bad. Yep. But that's going to be different. And yes, Jelly's Journeys, lots of baseball fields there. And I agree with Steve. I think you could take some of them away, build another complex over there, which they could do, and put a swimming complex in there. There's so many different championships you could get and bring in there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that'll mean more people at Disney World. I don't know that we want that, but we got enough already. But it is a good way to bring yet another sport that they have absolutely no footprint on, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't the Dodgers there in Arizona. The farthest team away was Toronto. It looked like they come all the way to Florida. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, they're East Coast. I mean, Toronto's East Coast Canada, but they're East Coast. So, yeah, they're going to come this way. They're not going to go all the way across the country. They're just going to come south. But it makes sense. But the other thing that used to be, and Disney just doesn't do this anymore, and I thought this was a good idea. For those that don't know, Disney used to host something called Night of Joy.
Yes.
Now, it was a Christian type thing where they would come in and it would be a lot of inspirational Christian type music, and it was a night of joy. They called it Night of Joy, where you came in and they would have a lot of Christian singers come in. I know Melissa knows a ton of them. She has the one she's a really big fan of. I can't think of his name. Stephen Curtis Chapman. Does that sound right?
Yes, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he used to come in there. A lot of other people, and they originally had it at Magic Kingdom. It was a night. They would close the park, and they would have Night of Joy in the Magic Kingdom, which was really neat. But then they changed it, and they put it over at the ESPN Wide World Sports Complex. Did you know that, Steve?
They did it for just 2016 and 2017.
Right, 2 years.
Just for 2 years, and then it came back to somewhere in 2018. I can't remember who it was, and then they announced it's done now.
Right. Unfortunately, it is done, which is kind of sad. That's too bad. But what they did was the actual concerts and everything were at the facility, and then they would bus people over to the Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
And bring them back and bus them back and forth, which was kind of cool. The reason why I bring this up is because that's another thing that Disney has the ability is to host concerts at these facilities. And yet they don't do it.
Yeah. And I don't know there's actually people that have performed at all three. There's a lot of regulars there. For some people, we're not talking about small time people just because it's a Christian concert. I mean, it's Chris Tomlin, Mercy Me, Casting Crowns.
Right.
Those guys have performed at all of them. So these are large concerts.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They can hold a real concert.
Yes.
I mean, tens of thousands of people could be at this thing. And yet Disney doesn't tap into that opportunity as well. I'm just surprised by that. I don't know why. Maybe they feel it'd be too much upkeep, and maybe they feel it would get out of hand. What do you think? I mean, I don't know.
It's true, but at the same possibility, they could look at it at a different angle to host, maybe host award shows or host something along those lines. The concert scene, when they got rid of Pleasure Island, that may have done, that got rid of some of the concert scene that they had going on every night. And they may not want that aspect, but there are other things and other events that you could host similar that would be easily attainable at ESPN Wide World Sports.
Absolutely. Yep, they could. And they may down the road, depending upon what happens now that they no longer have the Braves. I mean, I think that's a huge revenue that they no longer have. I mean, the Braves are a wildly popular team, especially down south there. All of Atlanta are big fans. I think Mississippi, a lot of them, South Carolina are probably good fans. North Carolina are probably fans too. Kentucky. So you got a big base right there that now have to go somewhere else to watch them play. I feel they're losing revenue from this. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those things where, ticket prices, you got how many people go watch them, because spring training is a fantastic opportunity to get a little more intimate with the players. You can see them closer. They're relaxed. They're not in the middle of a game where they can't pay attention to the fans. So a lot of people choose to go to spring training. That's a good time to get autographs, things like that. So they're gonna definitely lose some revenue from not having them there, which is why I fully believe they'll at least have one team, if not more, move in next year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's revenue out the door. Hey, Jim, more sunshine, please. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Kay Atwood says, don't they do concerts in the House of Blues? They do. But I'm talking more like big concerts, like
a big venue.
A big venue concert. I mean, like, let's just say Aerosmith, for instance, because they're in, they have a connection to Disney. Aerosmith wants to have a concert at Disney. That's where they can hold it. I think they could anyway. I mean, it may not be a 50,000 seat stadium, but it's still something that could hold a concert.
And Jeff just said Mercy Me even played the Eat to the Beat Food and Wine in 2018. I missed them by a little bit, but wasn't there just a movie about them as well?
I think so. Yeah, Melissa saw it.
I mean, it was big. I mean, they're not a small time band by any means, and actually they get crossed over a lot to just the regular pop radio stations. So I mean, these are massive events that you could hold there.
Yes, you can. Explosive Phoenix says, have you guys got autographs from any of the sporting events players at the ESPN Wide World of Sports? I've got autographs from plenty of people, but I haven't gotten any from the actual Wide World of Sports, because I'll be honest with you all, I've never been there. Well, I've never experienced it. So a lot of this, when I was reading up on it, was new to me. Because for me, when I go to Disney, I'm only there for a limited amount of time.
Yep.
Unless it's a major, like if I was down there for the Pro Bowl or for spring training, okay, I'm going to go see a Braves game. Or, okay, I'm going to go do the Pro Bowl stuff because I want to experience that. But all the other stuff, to me, it doesn't outweigh wanting to go to the parks. So as much as I like that they have these venues there, it's probably not going to fit into my schedule unless it's something major.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
No, same thing. So, I mean, it's there, and it's an incredible thing for especially people that haven't seen it. But until you go experience it at least the first time, it's one of those things you go, do I want to spend my time in the parks, or do I want to go see a sports complex? And if you're not into sports at all, you're not going to choose it. But once you get there and once you see it, I mean, there's hidden Mickeys there for people that do hidden Mickey hunting. There's they got statues of Disney characters that they did have. I haven't been there in a few years, but yeah, it's a nice complex where you can do a lot of different things. They used to hold pin events there for those pin collectors. So yeah, when you do an extended trip, like I'm doing in August, it makes it a lot easier to take a half a day and go there and just check out the complex, stop by and see what it's like. But if you're there for a limited number of days where people are only staying for 4 or 5 days, yeah, that's hard to get somebody to pry away from going to the parks. Because it is sports. It's not as magical. There's not going to be any characters over there. There will be some Disney theming and Disney and statues, but it's not going to be, you're going to not have any meet and greets or anything like that. So
yeah, exactly. It has to be about prioritizing.
Yes.
If you want to experience it, great. And it's something too, you don't necessarily have to take an entire day and go see it. Take a couple hours, go over, go see it, explore it, see what it's like, see what events going on over there. And if you see something you really like and you want to stay longer, great. And if you don't, off you go see the parks.
Yep.
So I agree. But there's the ability to get different events there is amazing. And we're going to talk about some other Disney stuff in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about the Wide World of Sports because I thought it was really, well, Steve brought it up, not me. Actually, Steve, I got to give him credit. This was his idea, and I thought it was perfect because you blend in Disney with the Wide World of Sports. And Disney has tried to make a concerted effort to be more sports friendly. Their Run Disney events are just so popular. Every single Run Disney event sells out every single time.
And now I want to do it too, but I don't know if I got to find now when they have them and all that, so I can get down there at the right time. But yeah, they do a great job with them. Great job.
They do. And Kay Atwood says bigger concerts might be too messy. People like to trash things. Not all, of course. And that's true too. And that might be why. And not only that, the other thing too is because we're not talking about a 50,000 seat concert, able stadium, maybe bigger acts don't want to come to the Wide World of Sports complex. That could be it too.
But you could also convert some of the buildings they have, like especially the new arena. It not only it holds 8,000 people already seated wise, but it has 6 basketball courts in it around which the seats are around that. So you can easily convert some of the courts and everything into more seating.
Right.
Could easily to where you could ramp up the seat
number.
Capacity, and make it worthwhile for a big name to come in.
Good. Yeah, and that's I don't know that they'll do it. I think Kay's got a good point there, maybe because they don't want to deal with the fact that maybe it could really trash the place. Who knows? That could be part of it. I mean, I totally get that. Jeff says the NBA experience is coming in August. Yep, it's coming to Disney Springs. We're in the area that used to be, oh my gosh, isn't that terrible? I can't think of the name of it now. Disney Quest, which we never did that either.
Oh, well, that was so fun. Well, that's another day.
That's another one. That's going to be a stream one time. But yeah, NBA experience is coming. It looks like it's going to be amazing. I always say when you go to a specific sport, when you bring a venue that's specific to one sport, you're going to alienate other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't like basketball, you're not stepping foot in the NBA experience.
Yep.
You're just not. I mean, you're just not. I can tell you right now, unless I drag Melissa, she's not going into the NBA experience. It's just it's not her cup of tea. And me, I could take it or leave it. Now, if that was the MLB experience, okay, I'd love it, but other people might not. That's the only problem I have with this. They should have made it like a sports experience, something like that.
Yeah, I get it. I get you.
But
it may not be a permanent thing. How permanent is it? Do you know?
Oh, it's permanent. This is it. It is. It is going to be the Disney, the NBA experience.
Well, Disney Quest, I don't know. There's 5 or 6 different floors. You could have dedicated a floor to each experience. Where obviously football could have easily been in there, where you had different drills where the kids could throw footballs through at targets or that kind of thing. And now I don't know what they're doing inside the NBA yet. They may be using it all for that purpose, but you could have easily separated that for numerous sports, at least the 3-4 major ones.
Yes, from what I've heard, it's going to be a lot of. You'll have some NBA experience things you can do, like shooting, this, that, and the other, and they'll have stuff like that. And they'll have a store. They're going to have a restaurant in there. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. But the entire thing is NBA, period. Yeah. Which I still think to this day, I think you're alienating a large group of people when you go specific to one sport.
Yep. Especially, in my opinion, the sport that is going in the wrong direction, that alienates most people itself anyways. But, yeah, no, that's just my opinion. I know that people won't agree with me, so.
Oh, right. No. Kay Atwood says her and Melissa getting shot while people are It's true, I'm telling you. But what will happen is this NBA experience will do really well in the beginning. But what I always like to say is what is its long-term stability? How long can it really hang on? How popular is this thing going to be in 5 years?
Well, main thing, how popular is it going to be for adults, first off, like you and I? Are we going? I mean, it'll be interesting for a little while, but is it going to bring us back a second time if we go in and experience it once? I mean, and there are people that it will bring them back time after time, but it falls into that category again of you spend your time in the parks, if you spend your time shooting basketball somewhere, if they can find a way to make it a different kind of experience while shooting basketball, that's a totally different thing. But it goes back to that where it's not, I'll do it once to experience it, but it's not going to pull me out of the park, I don't think. So
right. Exactly. Yep. But ESPN's Wide World of Sports Complex, folks, I do recommend, and I think Steve echoes this, go see it. Go try it. Give it a chance. If you can go while there's an event going on, I think it's just that much better. But I think it's definitely something you should try.
And again, check if you book your vacation from out of state, at least unless they're special to me, I don't know. But you get a booklet. Has all your travel information in it. It tells you what resort you're in, your confirmation of everything. They sent to you in the mail. In the very back of that, there's always about 2 pages of coupons. Usually one's for free mini golf, but every single trip I've taken, there's always been a ticket for the ESPN Wide World of Sports in there so that you can go experience it without having to pay for it at all.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So that's the Disney's ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. Steve, anything else you want to add about it? I do have a little bit of Disney news I want to go over for the last few minutes.
No, outside of not only is it just a sports complex, but it's a visually stunning sports complex. So make sure you guys at least go check it out. Just give yourself an hour. You don't have to do it. If you don't want to do anything else, just give yourself an hour to see what it's like. Check out the professional baseball fields. At least go into the championship gate. That alone is worth it. Championship gate at the front of the park or front of the entrance. You go into it. You get to experience. Experiences like you're going into a stadium. See all the Disney theming and how it's all done there. The merchandise. It's pretty cool. You'll enjoy it.
I think the architecture is really done well there. What it reminds me of, and maybe I'm wrong, it kind of reminds me of Disney Springs. The way it looks like the Disney Springs architecture that you see down there now. Yep. I wonder if they took from that, when they built Disney Springs, because that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And it may have intentionally back in 1997 when they built it. It may have intentionally been designed that way because like I said, I do know they're relatively close to Disney Springs. I just don't know exactly where. Right. But yeah, there's definitely some really nice visual. I've taken a lot of pictures of it. It's well worth the trip, especially that it's not crowded. There's never anybody. It's never overwhelming unless there's an event going on. There's never an overwhelming number of people over there. You can just stroll around, pose for pictures with all the different things. It's well worth it.
Yep. Now, HGC Magic TV says, is there still a restaurant there? I know they have dining facilities, but is it an actual sit-down restaurant, Steve, since you've been there?
I've not been in about, I can't remember how long it's been, but they do have the ESPN Wild World. They have a Wide World of Sports grill there for sure. So I don't know if it's still like a
table service
restaurant, or if it's more like a bar atmosphere maybe. But I know they have
Okay.
that. I'm sure. I think they probably have one other one there too as well, but I'm not sure. But they do have the sports grill. It's so you're going to get a sports themed grill type atmosphere. But there are some of those that you are sit down restaurants that you have like that too. So I think that's kind of what it is. But it's not going to be like you're going to a Disney themed restaurant around the parks or down at Disney Springs. I mean, it's not.
It's not a table service.
It's not a table service restaurant that you're going to go expecting to see it for Disney themes.
Gotcha. Okay.
They have burgers, they have pizza, they have sandwiches, things like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Explosive Phoenix says the NBA experience sounds like something that Universal used to have in a restaurant before the chocolate factory got put there, the one in Florida. Yes, absolutely. The NBA experience was a little bit different at Universal because it was more of just, it had some stuff. I think this is going to be better than what Universal had. Obviously, we won't know until we get there and see it, but I think it'll be a little bit better. Zippity Doodad says ESPN Grill is there. You order, then go pick your seats. Okay, so it's just like a quick service. It's not a table service where you sit.
You don't
your
have
waiter comes up to you, takes your order, and brings you your food. Got it. Makes sense. Brian says, would it be worth visiting ESPN for a first-time Walt Disney World trip? Brian, that's going to be a different answer for everybody. It really depends on the person. If you're huge into sports and you love sports complexes and events and things of that nature, I'm probably going to say yes. Mm-hmm. Steve, what about you?
Yeah, and I think people will appreciate it. Depends on also how long your trip is. If you're only going for 3 or 4 days, I would say no. You know, if you're going to go for a week, I think you would appreciate it more on your first trip than you will later, because once you get used to Disney magic and Disney theming and Disney characters and all that, it's not as prominent at the Wide World of Sports, but it is there. It's just not as prominent. So if you're doing it on your first trip, again, you don't have to spend a whole day there. You don't have to spend half a day there. Just go give it an hour and just look around, just so you can say, "Hey, I know what this is about." It's beautiful. If you enjoy sports atmosphere, it's beautiful.
Yep. So that probably answers the question, Brian. I hope for you. I would say for your first trip, if you guys are going to be down there 8 days, like Steve said, take a couple hours, go over there, and because it's not far. I mean, you can get there. Now, that's the other thing is how you get to the complex, because there are no buses that will take you there. So at least I don't think there are. So you either have to get a minivan or you have to get there yourself.
Yeah, it's been a long time. They definitely don't have a designated bus area. It's a massive parking lot that you go in. But they did have some kind of bus stop, but I think it was shared. So I think it's like it's not like set up for all the other resorts.
You're right.
But they do run buses but I don't know if it's from every location. It may only run from the parks to there or from Disney Springs to there. I can't remember. I don't know what the bus routes are.
I think it's Disney Springs. I think you're right.
They do have a bus stop there, though, but it's shared.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's from Disney Springs. And anybody in the chat, if you know, let us know. But I know, like, if I'm at Art of Animation, I don't think there's a spot that says, ESPN Wide World of Sports. I'm pretty sure of it. But then again, I'm not really looking for it either. I'm looking for the park. Yeah. So, if anybody in the chat knows, let us know. Let's see. Zippity Doodad. Delwood Dad says a sports nut here, but it won't go again outside of a special event. And he says the same thing you said, Steve. 2 or 3 hours is good. Angela says, I hope the ESPN Sports will have the moving figures like the ones in Disneyland that closed a while ago. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. They might. They definitely might. And then Explosive Phoenix said, I wonder if you can use the Disney taxi service that they have to get ESPN Wide World of Sports. I don't know. I mean, I know you could probably take the minivan over there, obviously. Yeah, for sure. But we'll see. Yeah, ESPN Zone, Jeff, they used to have ESPN zones all over the country. I don't know if you had one where you are, Steve, but we used to have one here where we are, right down in Ariana Harbor. We had an ESPN zone. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. They had every sport in there. You could play different things for those sports. You could do baseball batting cages. You could do football throwing footballs. You could do basketball. You could do hockey. They had everything. They had a restaurant. They had these giant screen TVs, but they went out of business. They don't have any anymore.
Yeah, I've not seen one of those around here, but the closest thing we've had here is our local children's museum our state children's museum has the NBA experience right now. So I'm sure it's not going to compare it to what Disney's going to do, but that's as close as we've ever had.
Yep, and that's right. A couple of people, Zippity Doodad and Jelly Journey, said There is one ESPN zone left. It's in the boardwalk.
Yep.
Yep, it's at the end of the boardwalk. You're right. I forgot about that one. That's correct. But hey, Cargo, welcome
Cargo.
in. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping in. And Amanda, I didn't say hi to you, the lucky man. I apologize. Thank you, Amanda, for being here as well. Guys, so go check it out. I think the ESPN zone is definitely worth a few hours just to go see it. It's a great facility. Disney put a lot of money into it. Go see it.
Yeah, unless you're there for I will say this: it's not something I'm going to continue to go back to,
right?
By any means. But as they make a change, I'll go check it out. Or if there's an event, I'll go check it out. But I'm not saying everybody needs to go there every time they go. Just you need to experience it once.
Right.
It's something that I think every person that has any admiration for sports at all just needs to go into the sheer beauty. If you like walking into a baseball stadium and seeing a game, imagine walking into the middle of 4 of them.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of what it's like. And that's just one little part of the complex. So it's worth seeing by all means one time. And you don't need a whole day, like, a couple hours and view it. You'll be pleased that you saw it. But it's the next time you go to plan your vacation, it probably won't be on your list to go must-dos go see. But
exactly.
it is something everybody should experience once.
Yep. All right. So there you go. ESPN's Wide World of Sports Complex. Be sure to check it out. It's Disney. It's sports. It's the best of both worlds. It really, really is. Mm-hmm. But I did want to talk like we always do at the end of the night before we head out. I want to talk some regular Disney talk as well. Mm-hmm. And I want to know what everybody thinks about, and I'm sure you heard about this, Steve, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway has been delayed now to 2020. And I don't know about everybody in the chat. I'm disappointed because I was really looking forward to this thing opening in, I think they thought September, and now we're looking at spring 2020. Steve, what are your thoughts on that? I want to hear from everybody in the chat too.
Yeah, we were talking, the two of us were talking, we were hoping for a possible soft opening as well, or an early
we were down there
to try to pull crowds away from Galaxy's Edge. Even we thought it would happen, but so I mean, I've heard several rumors. Number one, first rumor is obviously Galaxy's Edge opening is going to be too big for it to be able to coexist and continue to try to open both of them at the same time. There's a little bit of, I'm sure there's some truth to that. I've also heard that with the announcing that they're going to open one in Disneyland as well.
Yep.
That they moved it back to try to get the opening dates closer together. I don't know how much truth there is to that as well. That seems like a more plausible explanation than not being able to handle Galaxy's Edge.
Well, here's mine. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What did you hear?
Well, I heard a couple different things. Well, first off, the one in Disneyland isn't opening until 2022.
Yes.
So I don't believe that rumor that they're trying to open it up closer to the other one, because the other one's not for another 3 years or close to it out in Disneyland. But I'm glad it's going to Disneyland. I think I know Melissa's not happy about it because she loves a great movie ride, but I think this ride's actually going to be a game changer in a lot of ways for dark rides. But that's just me. What I heard was the reason why they've pushed it back is, and I've read this on sites, is everybody has been focusing. Disney is taking all their Imagineers and their workers and focusing on Galaxy's Edge. Mm-hmm. So this is being left to sit while everybody is focusing on getting Rise of the Resistance ready, getting Galaxy's Edge ready. They don't have enough workers for everything, so they have to pull people from other projects, and that's what's happening, and that's why they're delaying this, because they can't get it done. But that's what I've read. That's plausible to me.
That's the other thing I was going to add to at the end of it too, is that it just physically cannot be completed in time. And it's, from what I've read, I think this is a trackless ride. They're going to have to do all kinds of testing and all this other stuff. So I would rather, and it's not popular, I would rather they push it back a few more months to make it sure it's right than to rush it in and it break all the time, not be a good experience the first time around it, and then just nobody's going to want to be on it again.
100%. I'm okay if they push it back, because you're right. I can't have this. I don't like any ride coming out that's not done right.
Yeah.
Breaking down all the time. They have to close it down for this, that, and the other. It needs refurbishments all the time because they didn't get it right the first time. Fine. It's okay. Just when you get it done, make sure it's done right. I'm 100% in agreement with you there. I think that's part of the problem with Galaxy's Edge. As happy as I am that they're opening this thing in August for us, I'm majorly disappointed that Rise of the Resistance isn't going to be open. I'm in the minority there. I know a lot of people are just glad it's going to be open. Not me. That was the ride I was waiting for. I don't like the stages. I'd rather wait and you open.
Yep.
That's just me.
And I'm kind of the same boat as you, but a little differently. As long as everything else is open, and if half the park is shut down, then I'm going to have a problem with it. But if all of it's open, and again, I would rather they make sure Rise of the Resistance is going to be right when it opens. I'm glad they're opening it up to us so we can go experience that, as long as they make sure Rise of Resistance is good when it does open.
Yeah, and they will. I think they will. They're going to get it right. They definitely are. Kay Atwood says she wished they would change the look of Mickey and Minnie. She thinks the animation is creepy. I thought that at first, but the more I see it, I'm okay with it. Maybe it's because I'm getting used to it now. The animation doesn't bother me as much as it used to, but I know Melissa doesn't like it either. It doesn't bother me as much as it did at first. And again, it's probably because I'm getting used to it. What do you think of the animation, Steve?
I hate it. I don't know why. I don't like it. To me, it's a step backwards in animation, completely step backwards in animation. Now, it like she said, it creeps me out. My nieces don't like it. We went to stay at the Pop Century a few years ago, I think it was, when the first time I saw it, and they put it on the big lobby in the food court, and we just couldn't. We moved. We didn't like it at all. Didn't like the content. Don't like the way they look. Goofy looks really sick. I didn't like it at all. And then today we turned on the TV and there was DuckTales done in almost the same animation style today, and we couldn't stand it. It's just visually not pleasing to me. I miss the classic or even the computer animated drawings of these characters, and that's not part of it for me.
Yeah, and Cargo says it reminds her of Ren and Stimpy. I agree. I can see that. I can see what it reminds you. Yeah, I mean that's the type of animation it is. Absolutely.
Somebody actually mentioned that to me on another stream I don't remember how long ago, but I've heard that before too. Ren and Stimpy.
Yep. Brian asked if I was going to get a droid at Galaxy's Edge. I would love to get a droid depending upon the cost. It depends on the cost because they're actually, I don't know if any of you have seen it yet. The size of these droids, Steve, have you seen it?
They're bigger than what I thought they were going to be.
Me too. I couldn't believe the size of these things. I mean, they're good sizes. So they're going to be expensive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Take care, Chills TV. Thanks for dropping in.
With the Banshees, man, I can't remember how much. Are the Banshees $100? Are they that 120?
They were expensive. They were up there. I thought they were 50. Maybe they were 100. I can't remember.
Regardless, say it's 50. If something that small that sits on your shoulder is $50, can you imagine what this droid's going to be?
I know. Oh my God. Brian says which droid we should all chip in and buy it for his Christmas present. Right, that would be wonderful. The R2 I love R2D2. R2D2 is my favorite droid, period. Everybody loves BB-8. I like BB-8, but I don't like him better than R2. That's just me. I love R2D2.
Chills just said he bought a Banshee for $65.
Okay, yeah. I think when we went, they were in the 50s, but I think obviously they made them more expensive since then. But definitely, I'm excited. I am upset about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway. I wish that they didn't have to do this, but I totally get it. It's too bad. Melissa, do you remember how much the Banshees were? I know she's in the chat. When we were there, I thought they were $50, Steve, but we were there for a preview before Pandora opened, so maybe that was just a special at that time.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they're expensive but they are cool. I mean, but it wound up on my niece's dresser and it doesn't ever move after that. So
well, you know what? That's most toys, to be honest with you. I mean, they do this. Brandon Dave says, "Hey, Brandon Dave, welcome in." By the way, I don't know if you were in here early. I don't know if we said hi to them, but I apologize. They said they're about to book their flight for August.
Very nice.
Everybody's going to be there in August. Yep, absolutely. That's fun. But I also wanted to touch on, I don't know what they're ultimately going to do with this place long term, but for now, Pizza Rizzo is reopened over at Hollywood Studios as well.
I heard that. to great reception. I hear.
Yes, but there's a reason for that. ABC commissary is down.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're doing a refurb at ABC commissary, so they need an extra quick service type place to do this. So Pizza Rizzo's is now open. What did you didn't hear about that, Steve? Hey, Brian, thank you for that. You didn't have to do that. Everybody, please thank Brian for the $5 super chat. Brian, I definitely appreciate that, but that was very generous. Thank you very much for that, pal. It definitely goes to the fund, but I appreciate that very much. Very generous of you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. We appreciate that. Dole Whip Dad said it is seasonal. So I can see that. I did not know ABC commissary was down at the time. That used to be one of my favorite places to go for a quick service meal because they used to serve steak for lunch as a quick service credit.
ABC?
Yeah. They didn't in September. They did not have it when we went, so it was not an option. So I'm assuming they've changed that. But I think they do need another one. But do they not? Did they Pizza Planet and Pizza Rizzo are pretty much the same thing? Are they not?
They are. They're the same. Look,
so why open a second pizza place? Right there, just to have an extra restaurant, and when you've got an option that's already that.
Well, but Pizza Planet is now Pizza Rizzo.
They're converting Pizza Planet in. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
maybe I'm getting this confused backwards.
Pizza Rizzo used to be Pizza Planet. They've just reimagined it.
So Pizza Rizzo that has closed down. Is that what you're saying? And now they're reopening seasonally.
Yes, Pizza Rizzo is now seasonal. It's now just seasonal. So it's only open during the very busy times or if they need it.
I remember that now.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. And now it's reopened for a while to the point that they need it because of the fact that ABC commissary is down.
I got to be honest. I didn't know Pizza Rizzo was – I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking they were bringing Pizza Planet back. I didn't know Pizza Rizzo was a seasonal restaurant. It's been open every time we've gone.
And see, our last trip there, Melissa and I, it was not open anytime we saw it.
Really?
We were there. Well, we were there 2:00 in the afternoon on a Friday, and it was not open.
Yeah, we usually have to go during spring break or fall break, which is two of the busiest times at Disney World. So it's probably going to be open there. So I did not know that was seasonal. I thought I had it backwards. I was thinking you, Brian, as Cargo said, I'm confuzzled. I thought they were bringing back Pizza Planet and having Pizza Rizzo both together still. I didn't realize that Pizza Rizzo was a seasonal restaurant.
Yep. Brian says he heard that Pizza Rizzo closed down because they had a rat infestation.
Yes, that's true.
I am in the minority when it comes to the pizza at Pizza Rizzo. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Everybody says it's horrendous. It's not the best pizza I've ever had. It's not even close to the best pizza I've ever had. But it's fine. It's pizza. It's not terrible pizza. But that's just my opinion. I can eat that pizza. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. That's not Via Napoli. But it's not terrible. But I must be in the minority. Did you like it, Steve?
No. It was, like you said, it was okay. I mean, it's pizza. But especially now that I've had way better pizza at Disney World, it'll be a hard one to come to. In the past, until they opened Toy Story Land, until I enjoy Hollywood Studios, but the rest of my family doesn't. They don't care too much for it until recently, because it was something we could do in an entire day, and we only spent one day there. We didn't have to go back for a second day, so we only had to worry about one restaurant. We could find that pretty easily in ABC Commissary. That was our go-to place because we could eat steak all the time and for a lunch credit. So it was automatic that the one day that we were going to Hollywood Studios, we always ate at ABC Commissary. So we had the pizza once. It wasn't as great as Via Napoli or Blaze or any of the other ones that they've got there. So if I'm going there, I really don't have to have the pizza there. It's just we're not there enough to make it worthwhile to continuously go to Pizza Rizzo.
Right. And I think, hey, Rob, welcome in. Everybody say hi to Rob Fuzz.
Hey, Rob.
Rob's in here. Good to see you, buddy. I'll say this. It's pizza. I mean, I love pizza, but I don't go to Disney for pizza. I can get great pizza here at home. And I mean great pizza. I love Via Napoli pizza. I can get great pizza here too. But it's not something that's going to make or break my trip. If I go to Pizza Rizzo and the pizza's not great, it's fine. It gives me something to eat. Now if I go to Le Cellier and get a bad steak, that's going to ruin my trip.
Yeah. Well, and
You know?
to me, the resort pizza at the value resorts is better than Pizza Rizzo. It's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
it's probably the same, but it's not. But I would prefer, you can spend 2 quick service credits. A lot of people may not know. You can spend 2 quick service credits and get an entire pizza from your resort and take it back to your room and split it with everybody. And you only had to use up 2 credits. I mean, it's just a way to pick up extra credits for your food service if you got to cover something else. But yeah, you can spend 2 quick service and get a credit, and that pizza's pretty decent.
Yep. It's funny, we're talking food, and Dan hasn't come back in the stream. I'm surprised by that.
It hasn't crossed the pond yet. He'll be there.
Well, you know what else? Talking about pizza. Last thing on pizza, guys. I don't know how we got on pizza. One of the best pizzas I've ever had, and Melissa will attest to this because she's had it. Yes, and Melissa Blaze is good. We were down at the boardwalk, Disney's boardwalk. They have a little stand at Disney's boardwalk. I don't even know what it's called, but they sell pizza. It was awesome. I'm sorry. It was good pizza.
Dan said, "Did I hear my name?"
Oh, there he goes.
I don't know the stand that you're talking about. I've never seen it.
Melissa, you're there. Tell them. I don't know the name of the stand, and anybody in the chat, if you know it, it's not even a stand. It's actually in the building. It's up against the building. It's just called the Boardwalk Pizza window, Melissa says. It's awesome, Steve. I'm not kidding you, man. Melissa said it. Great pizza. I couldn't believe it. You
just go up to a window and order like a slice of pizza?
Yeah, well, no, it's like a personal pizza.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's like 4 little slices, but man, it was really, really good. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's still not Via Napoli. Don't get me wrong. But man, it was close. It was good. It was really good. It was good. I liked it a lot. Last thing I wanted to talk about, and this one I got to get everybody's opinion on in the chat, and then we'll call it a night. The gondolas.
Mm-hmm.
The inside of the gondolas have now been, we can see them. I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but the inside of the gondolas have been revealed. They have 2 benches on both sides, and they say you can fit up to 10 people in this thing.
Ooh.
I don't see it, but that's just me. Steve, what's your opinion on the gondolas?
I didn't know it was 10. I knew it's a tight fit, but I do know that, from what I've heard, anyways, like I said, I've not been there, so I can't say I know that they have some bigger ones for handicap accessibles. Mm-hmm. So you can wheel in a thing. I just figured out, somebody was telling me about how this thing actually works, because I was nervous because it actually moves really fast.
11 miles an hour, they said.
11 miles an hour. So I was trying to figure out how, because I know they don't stop it, how I was going to jump on one of these things going 11 miles an hour. But apparently it comes off track and you got to do a loading area and then it goes back on, which still baffles me how somebody ever figured this out. But during that loading process, there are going to be some that have bigger capabilities. Either one of the benches will be out, whatever the case may be, so that they can fit scooters and they can fit wheelchair accessibles in there. So,
sure.
But cramming 10 people into that picture, that was I was thinking maybe six to maybe 7 or 8 total.
They say 10.
I'm sure they could, like sardines, but yeah, 10's gonna be an uncomfortable ride, I think.
The thing is I think what they're expecting, what Melissa and I thought about was, and again, I want to hear from everybody in the chat. Dan says, do they have on-board food service? Not yet, Dan, but maybe down the road. And Dolwit, Jeff says, not my butt. He's like getting 10 people in his. Oh, that's so funny. I don't know. I'm going to try it one time. Garger says she's not riding in no heat box of death on a wire and becoming gator bait.
Gargo.
Oh, that's so funny. I guess what they think is what Melissa and I are thinking is 4 and 4 on the benches and 2 people have to stand.
Yeah, kind of like a monorail.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's how we're thinking it's probably going to go. But we'll have to see how it works. My Disney park memory says just like the old Skyway boarding. I mean, I'm sure it's 11 miles an hour once they get up there, but once they're down inside the actual terminals, I'm sure it's going to go very slow to get you in and out.
So the way I was told, and again, I don't know anything about this except for what I've been told. So there's a track that it comes down, but when it comes into the terminal, it comes off track into a loading zone. And then that wire never stops moving 11 miles an hour.
Right.
So what it does, though, is as you're going, after that car disembarks, when the next car is ready to pick up on the other end, the wire that's going through there picks it up and goes. And I don't know how that works, but that's what it was. How it was explained to me is that the cars actually leave the wire into a loading zone to give you plenty of time. There's enough cars there, though, that it'll be ready every time it goes by. But it leaves the wire, goes to a loading zone. It's slow moving loading zone. People load, and then as they get to the end, it picks them right back up on the other end. Now, I don't know how fast that's going, but I can imagine that 11 mile an hour would still jerk some people around if they're not ready for it.
I agree. Dan says so. What he heard is 9 people can fit inside the gondola and 1 holding on the outside.
I'll volunteer to be the one holding on the outside so I can drop into Galaxy's Edge on the 29th.
There you go.
I'll do that one.
So talking about the gondolas, of course, we know there's no air conditioning in these things. But from what I'm reading here, and I'll read verbatim, it says air conditioning will not be offered, but the design of the cabins includes reflective windows and mesh panels to provide ventilation. So that's their theory is the windows are going to be reflective to keep the sun out. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, it'll help, but it's not going to work. It's going to be hot, but I think it's going to be designed from what I was looking at. I think air is going to be able to get in up under the roof, so it'll be airflow, but where it'll keep the weather out at the same time, though, so that it will not get hot. It'll help. I think it's going to do everything they can to help it, but I don't think it's going to. It gets those 100-degree days are not going to be pleasant. I don't think. Maybe we'll be surprised. I hope we are.
I hope so too. I think Disney's really got to test and retest these things. They're putting a heck of a lot of money and time into these gondolas. And if they're not going to be to the point where they're going to be safe in the respect of heat, the last thing they want are people having heat strokes on these things 60 feet in the air as they're going 11 miles an hour and you can't get to them.
Yeah, Cargo just said, "Oh, great mesh. So when it drops off the wire and into the water below, the gators will smell us better."
Yes, it's true. It's true. I'm telling you. I'm still going to ride it. I'm going
to ride it too. Dan said I took his idea of hanging out on the side and dropping into Galaxy's Edge. So.
There you go. That's right. Dan also says the only fresh air we'll be getting from those gondolas are the big size people make after they get out.
Well, and see, here's the thing. There's gondolas used around the world, and I guess the Skyway, which I never got to experience, is I think before my time, but it works. I mean, it's not a brand new concept or new idea, so they got to know what they're doing. But yeah.
Well, I'm going to give them I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I know they have got to have an idea of how this is going to work with the heat. They got to. I'm sure they've tested this in some way, shape, or form, but we'll have to see.
Well, and then I heard they also have to have so many hours of runtime on this thing too before they allow a person on it. So it's going to be tested.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. So there you go, folks. Disney's Wide World of Sports and some Disney news. I really hope everybody had a great time tonight. I know we ran a little bit over. Thank you all for hanging in there, especially those over across the pond, Dan and a few others. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, hey, there's Juan Rodriguez. Welcome in. Good to see you, buddy. We're just getting ready to get out of here. Good to see you, pal. Dan says they'll need to get an extra big gondola after I eat. That's so funny. But Dan, everybody, go ahead.
Dan will use the bench to lay down in after he eats meals.
It's true. I'm telling you, it's true. It's absolutely true. It's so funny. But everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. We had a great time. A little bit of sports mixed in with Disney. We love to talk sports, Steve and I. That's why we do this show on Saturday nights. But we understand that for a lot of folks, it may not be their thing. And that's why we try to include the Disney at the end of the night.
And we just appreciate you all coming out and still supporting us, even if you're not here for the sports.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we throw that in at the end, for sure. But thank you all for being here. We definitely had a great time tonight. Please, again, check Steve's channel out. He's a great partner channel. We're very lucky to have him. He goes live every Monday at 8 o'clock. has fantastic live streams. Tons of people in there. He's been really just knocking it out of the park. Be sure to check him out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're watching on the replay, if you haven't already subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Be sure to do that. Steve, anything else you want to plug, buddy? What's coming up?
Just thank you, Walt, for everything that you guys do. Yeah, I like to associate myself with good people, and I think you and Melissa do a great job, and I greatly appreciate you guys. So, but yeah, coming up on Monday, I've got a special guest. Barring his schedule, as long as everything continues to work out, Dougie from Waltograms will be joining me. We will be doing the top 3 things, our top favorite three things in each park that are not rides. And then I got a lot of things coming up on the horizon. I got my calendar worked out for the rest of the year for my live streams. The week after that, we will be paying tribute to the 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. And I believe the week after that, I'm going to have something called Impossible Disney Trivia, which is I spoke to Dean Miguel about how, it's just one-time thing for me, but I'm not jumping on their wagon or anything. But it's things that I've experienced that I see off of rides and queue lines and parks, and I'm like, oh, that'd make a great, but nobody would ever get it, So, but a Googling will be allowed in my stream for the first person that can find the answer. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have some good things coming up.
Good. Yep. So everybody, please check out Steve's channel. Support him. He's getting really close to 600, I think. Right, Steve? You're like right there.
Honestly, I haven't even looked, but let me see real quick.
590.
590. Yes. Well, 591. So
there you go. See, so you're right there. Melissa and I just passed 1,300 on our channel, and we're very grateful. Thank you all very, very much for that. We're up and down with our subscribership, but we're extremely blessed to have anybody subscribe to our channel. We definitely appreciate it. We go live on Tuesdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays is Mouse Madness. Thursdays is Mouse Talk, Disney Talk, and of course Saturdays with Steve. So check us out. Please give us a thumbs up on this video. It definitely helps the stream, shows you care, and I just hope you all had a good time tonight. We had a great time bringing it to you, and we do this every Saturday at 8, right after Disney Fiasco. Check him out as well. And I will say this: not going to step on your toes on Monday, Steve, but we might do a special stream at 7 o'clock or 7:30 for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to the ball game on Monday.
Oh, nice.
So, and we'll be inside a suite.
Oh, wow.
Might nice. Stream for a few minutes from the ball game.
No problems whatsoever, buddy.
I'll try not to step on your toes. I don't know that just yet. So if you see a stream pop up on Monday from Mouse Talk, it'll be us. We'll just be on for a little bit to hopefully maybe show the suite a little bit if they let us. I have to ask, and then from there we'll go forward. But thank you all again, everybody. You know who you are in the stream. There's so many of you out there. But thank you all for joining us. We had a great time tonight, and we'll definitely see you all soon. Brian, thank you for the super chat, buddy. That was very, very generous. I appreciate that. And until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys. Happy Easter.
Yes, I forgot. Thank you, Steve. I'm Catholic, and I didn't even say Happy Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. I know, too much information. But happy Easter, everybody. Have a great Easter. Bye-bye.